name is Madeline. I talk about random things every Tuesday. Today, I'm going to be talking about every interaction I've ever had with an author, online or in person, and I'm going to be spilling the tea, so stay tuned. The first author interaction I had that really meant a lot to me, we have to go back to 2013. That is the year I met our Lord and Savior, Cassandra Clare. Let me set the scene for you. At this point, I am obsessed with the Mortal Instruments series. I haven't started reading the Infernal Devices yet, but Clockwork Princess is about to come out, and Cassandra Clare is doing a book tour. And I see she's coming to my local mall. So automatically, I am like, I have to go. I have to bring my best friend who I forced to read the Mortal Instruments series. Like, we have to go. We're doing this. So we wake up at the crack of dawn. I think it was maybe like, it might have been like 4:30 or 5. Me, my little sister, my best friend, and my mom, we go to our local mall and we start waiting in line outside Barnes & Noble. And the way this worked was you had to buy a book at Barnes & Noble, and like the book at Barnes & Noble, and then they would give you a wrist bracelet that helped determine like where you were in line to get a signing later in the day. So we get there way early, and when Barnes & Noble finally does open at like 6:30 or 7, like there's maybe a line of like 15 people, so we definitely didn't have to get up that early, but it's the experience, right? And so we wait out there, and then we buy the books, and we get our wrist bracelets, and I think Cassandra Clare was going to get there around 4. So we go back home, and we decide we're going to make a big poster to like show her. So we get a big poster board from Michael's, and then we draw this thing on it, and it has all the characters from the Mortal Instruments. It has like this demon thing in the side, and I think it says like, Cassandra, we love you, or something like that. That's fun. I think we end up taking like naps maybe, and then we wake up again at like 1, and we're like, we gotta go back to the mall so that we can save our spots. Even though we have these bracelets, but it's like we have to save our spots. So we go to the mall, we're waiting in line, and the line starts to form. We're like 5th and 6th in line. Like, we're really close. We're sitting on the floor. We're just having such a fun time. And people start showing up more, and it starts getting really busy, and we're like still at the front of the line. It's so fun. And then the time finally rolls around. Cassandra Clare gets there, and we get to listen to her like answer questions like from the audience and just like talk about the Infernal Devices and the Mortal Instruments series. And while we're sitting there, I like kind of start reading a little bit from Clockwork Princess, just kind of get the vibes. And I'm like, wow, this is kind of good. Flash forward a year, and I am obsessed with the Infernal Devices. I almost love it more than the Mortal Instruments. I mean, Will Herondale? But anyway, at the time I didn't know that. So I have this book. I don't really know what it's about, but I'm just excited to be there. And we get in the line, we get up there, and she signs our books, and we show her our poster, and she goes, oh my god, is Jace wearing leather shorts? And we go, yes! And she just thinks that's so funny, and we were like, oh my god, Cassandra Clare thinks we're funny. And we're just like riding a high. So we have our signed books, we go outside, and there is her tour bus, and like her tour bus has like Cassandra Clare on the side, and like all of her books. And so we get pictures in front of her tour bus, and then we go home and we tweet her, and we're like, thank you so much for coming to our local Barnes & Noble, like it meant everything to us, like you don't even know. And then we go to sleep, and it seems like this whole thing's over, except we wake up the next morning and she's retweeted our tweet, and she's responded, and it really just made my entire life. And like that copy of Clockwork Princess, which now is one of my favorite books ever, is every time I see it, I'm like, wow, that was like the best day of my life. It really was. All right, then we're gonna flash forward to 2017. This is the year I met S.E. Hinton, the godmother of YA fiction herself, the author of The Outsiders. Basically, The Outsiders was celebrating its 50th anniversary. She went on a book tour, and she happened to stop at Powell's Books, which is one of our big local independently owned bookstores here in Oregon. And so, again, me and my same best friend, we get tickets. We get there really early. We get seated. S.E. Hinton just proceeds to tell us like about what the books meant to her, what the movies meant to her, and like it was so meaningful to hear like 50 years later, like the legacy that she feels like she's left. It was just so touching. And then we go up and she signs our books, and I have a picture, so here's the picture. And it was just so delightful meeting S.E. Hinton, and it really felt so meaningful to me just because of the legacy that YA has left in my life, and like to meet someone who kind of said like, yeah, like YA is important, it's important to write for teens. Like it was just so, like what an experience. Now we're going to be skipping forward to around 2019. Something important to know about me is that I love being on authors' newsletter, like their email newsletter. I love it. Like, you get their like debrief of what they've been working on. You get some snippets about their personal life. Like, I look forward to getting those email newsletters in my inbox. I just think it's so fun. And I also just really care a lot about these authors' lives. Like, I follow them on Instagram as if they're my own friends. Like, I literally love them. But anyway, I digress. Back to 2019, that year, Alexandra Bracken, I had just read her Darkest Minds series, and I love it. I love it, and I love the movie. Justice for the movie. Very underrated. But anyway, she, in one of her newsletters, was like, hey, like, send me questions about writing and the writing process and, like, authorship, and I will respond to some questions in my next email. So I sent her this question, and it was about imposter syndrome, which, if you don't know, that's about feeling like you accidentally got what you have in life, like you don't deserve it, like you don't have the talent or skills or knowledge to deserve what you actually have already done. And she picked my question to answer in the newsletter, and it was so thoughtful and so sweet. And she was saying like, oh, she battles imposter syndrome and like all this stuff, and I was just like, oh my god, to hear someone you look up to like give advice on something that you struggle with, like, it was just really cool. That same year, Kelly Armstrong, author of the Darkest Powers trilogy, she did a giveaway for a signed book, any of her books, and so I entered the giveaway, and I told her that I literally reread her books every single year, which I do. I always keep them as an ebook on my phone for if I just need like a pick-me-up comfort book. And so I won the giveaway, and she sent me a signed copy of The Awakening in hardback, and it was just like, like it really just made my entire life, and it was so cool. And that brings us to 2020. This is the year something very exciting happened, and I think it's because all authors are just at home, so they started planning more virtual events, and like it really was so special. So if any authors happen to be watching this, God bless, because I really appreciated that. But anyway, this is the year that I got Stephenie Meyer's autograph. Okay, I'm the biggest Twilight fan, you know, probably. Yeah, I've read each book over 30 times. Like, I am a huge Twilight fan. It is crazy. So basically, when Midnight Sun was coming out, sorry, I'm still so excited. When Midnight Sun was coming out, Stephenie Meyer did this essay contest, and if you won the essay contest, you would get to, like, I think it was do a one-on-one Zoom with her. And so I wrote this essay. The prompt was, tell us about your local bookstore and, like, what it means to you. And so I wrote this essay on Powell's books, and I thought it was pretty good. Definitely got to put my creative writing skills to use, but I was like, I probably won't win, but how cool would it be if I did? Of course I didn't win, but she sent out an email and she said she was so touched by all of the essays that she would be doing like a Zoom with everyone who entered the essay contest, and she would be sent an autographed book plate to everyone who entered the essay contest. So that's how I got my autographed book plate. Here is a picture of me when I got it. And then the Zoom, and you could enter questions to the Zoom, and I did enter a question that I needed desperately answered, and that question is there going to be a sequel to The Host, because I'm obsessed with The Host and I need a sequel in order to live. But anyway, here's her saying my name.
Speaking of The Host, lots of people, Madeline, Justin, Amanda, Catherine, Rhonda, probably some people, other people whose names I missed. Do you think that you will ever publish the sequel to The Host?
I would love to.
Yeah.
Madeline.
So that was the best moment of my life, and my autographed copy of Midnight Sun is my most prized possession. Every time I've ever been to a Goodwill in the last 10 years, I've looked for an autographed copy of one of the Twilight books, because, you know, people started not liking Twilight, and they got peer pressured into it, and then they gave up their books, and one of those should have been signed, but I never was able to find one, and now I have my own signed one, and it just literally means the world to me, and like that was just... that was amazing, truly. 2021, I've already had 2 meaningful author interactions this year, which is just like, what? Like, how? The first one is Christina Lauren. If you're not familiar, Christina Lauren are the amazing duo that have given us so many contemporary romances, but most notably The Unhoneymooners, which is one of my best books of this year. Literally one of the best books I've ever read. It was such a funny rom-com. I was obsessed with it, and I've now forced everyone I know to read it. So I love that book, and they did a 1-year anniversary of when it got published Zoom celebration. So I went on there and I kind of got to like see and interact with them, and they are just such lovely people. They're so funny, and they're just like, you can just tell they're best friends. Like, it's so cool. But after the Zoom, I did an Instagram post about how much I love the Unhoneymooners, and they liked it. So I can't. It was very cool. And then finally, this just happened a couple weeks ago, but I did a post on my Bookstagram, at madelinewiththeglasses, of the Sisters Grimm series, which literally is my favorite middle grade series. Like, it's phenomenal. Think fairy tale detective. Like, it's perfection. And I did a post on how much I loved it, and Michael Buckley liked it, and then he commented a little heart. And so I said, oh my god, you don't know what these books mean to me. They got me through the pandemic. They got me through like middle school and high school. Like, I love these books. And then he commented, and he was like, I'm so glad to hear that, like blah blah blah. And then he shared it to his Instagram story. And it was so cool. And my mom and my best friend who follow my Instagram, they like texted me and they were like, oh my god, like we just saw Michael Buckley commented. And I was like, I know. So honestly, it was really cool. These author interactions that I've had have meant like literally the world to me. I am so honored that I have been able to like meet these people who have written these characters and these stories that mean so much to me. And if I was to ever become an author, like I would totally remember that. And I look forward to meeting more authors in the future. And I'm also so lucky that every author I've met who I've looked up to and respected has been such a good person, because not one of these author interactions went bad. And I know a lot of people, when they meet their favorite actor or their favorite, you know, like whatever, like it doesn't always go the way they wanted it to, but like here it really did, and it's so good to have good people to look up to. But anyway, now I'm just rambling. Thank you so much for watching this video. What authors have you met and how did it go? Let me know in the comments below. Spill that tea. I would love to know all the details. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye! That was in 2021, bro. Okay, back on that.